Hi, I'm Chase Stanton. I'm the station manager here at SCTN. Today I'm joined by Dianne Hill, who is the city clerk. We're going to talk about her position and a little bit of the things going on in the city, elections coming up and whatnot. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Great. And so for anyone who might not know, what kind of day-to-day duties do you do as the city clerk? What's the job entail?
Okay, I'll give you a little history. I've been with the city for 40 years. I started when I was 17 years old in high school co-op program through Saline schools. And I've stayed all these years working up through the ranks. I became clerk in 1988. My office is probably one of the hubs of the city. We gather the information. Everyone comes to us looking for an answer. We handle elections. We handle passport services. I'm the clerk of city council, and what that entails is doing their agenda, their minutes, and doing all the follow-up for the actions that they've taken. We do solicitors permits, the master file, keeping all the records for the city. Kind of stumbling here. And cemetery is one of our major functions.
Okay, great. And so you've been in this position for a while now. Has it changed very much throughout the years?
Yes.
Evolved?
It has evolved. We used to work with typewriters, and now we have computers. That's a big change. The old mimeograph machines, and of course now we have color copiers and that can duplex and sort and do all kinds of things. The position itself, of course, we've added passport services. We've always done elections. There's always been the records. Most of them are still paper. We are required to keep paper documents. We have not digitized yet, but we are looking to hopefully do that in the future and get all of that taken care of. So.
Great. And before we started, you mentioned that you're not the only person within your department. You have two people who work with you?
Yes. I have a deputy clerk, and that has been Jacqueline Lindamore for the past 25 years. She's been with the city, and she's retiring in April. It's going to leave a big hole in my office. But I also have an assistant clerk, Amy Rutledge, who has been promoted, and she will take the deputy clerk position. And I have an assistant clerk, which was Amy, and we have a promotion in Connie DeHaan, who's worked part-time at the pollution control facility as their office manager, and she will be joining my staff.
Wow, great. And so I guess another question, since you had started so early in this job, was this something you had ever thought about doing when you started? Or
No.
did you ever know you'd be doing this?
No, had no
Now,
idea,
too?
but I really enjoy my job. Obviously, I've been there for a long time. It's challenging, it's rewarding. I like to work with the public and the people of Saline. I have great coworkers. I've worked for many councils, and they've been supportive, and it's been real rewarding for me.
That's great. And so I guess we can kind of go into a little bit more detail about some of the things we mentioned. Maybe starting out with your interactions with the city council when they have meetings and whatnot.
Okay.
What you kind of do and your role you play.
Sure. As I said before, I prepare the agenda, which is all the actions that council is proposed to take in a particular meeting. I will get items from staff that need council attention and council action and put those together. I'll go over that agenda with the mayor and the city manager prior to the meeting, and we will finalize the agenda with all the supporting documents. And then I'm responsible to get those copied and out to the council members. They get a weekly packet with mail and agendas and different information. And then at the council meeting, I sit next to the mayor and record any of the actions that are taken. I take notes, and then I formulate the minutes afterwards and do the routine follow-up with correspondence for all the actions that have been taken. Publication of the ordinances, sending documents out to the state if need be, as far as like IFTs, which are industrial facility tax exemptions.
Okay.
Council takes action on those, and that's required to file documents with the State Tax Commission. office also handles the census information. When we're in our every 10 years we have the U.S. Census Bureau. We're responsible to gather all of the addresses and verify those. So my office, along with the assessor's office, handles all that documentation. And then the city superintendent's office does the mapping. So we don't look forward to census every 10 years. So we just completed that. So
Yeah.
we're happy that's done for a while.
Wow, it's quite a bit.
It is.
It's a lot more than just keeping minutes, like some
Yes.
people might think.
Yes, yes.
We also had mentioned the cemetery, your department's role in managing, I guess I would say.
Yes, I have the title of co-sexton,
Okay.
along with our city superintendent.
Mhm.
He's also a co-sexton. My end of that job is to keep all the records for the cemetery. We keep records of all the interments, the disinterments, if someone is removed and moved to another cemetery. We keep burial transit permits that comes with the body, per se. We do all the sales, keep all the records and the mapping. Recently, council approved a new addition, and we will be doing construction in the spring. Right now, Mr. Rubel, the city superintendent, is in the process of getting the permits for that. The expansion area is along Michigan Ave, and we will be building a retaining wall, and we will be installing 88 single and double crypts.
Great.
Recently, council authorized the addition of 139 cremation niches in our mausoleum, and we will be beginning sales on those beginning March 1st. So it's quite an improvement to the cemetery.
Yeah, that's great that, if someone's family member passes away, they can stay close here in the city and that's
Right.
available to them.
Right.
It's great. And so kind of a big topic coming up is elections.
Elections.
There's a lot to, I guess, cover in that regard, with primaries and general elections and whatnot. If you could kind of go into detail about that.
Sure. Most people show up on election day and cast their vote, and away they go when they think,
That's it.
that's it. But my office is responsible for administering those elections, and we actually start months in advance. A person has to be registered 30 days prior to an election to be eligible to vote. We've passed that. The primary is coming up, the presidential primary. There's many state deadlines that we have to meet. We have to do public notices in the paper for the registration as well as the election. We have to retain and get election workers to work the polls on election days. They have to be trained. We have to send certifications to the county that they are trained. We have to proof the ballots when they come in. We have to, of course, order them. We have to test those ballots, which I just did a preliminary test this week. All that has to be done in accordance with state guidelines and their schedule. And absentee ballots go out approximately 30 to 45 days in advance. We do have a permanent absentee voter list. If anyone is 60 years of age or older or handicapped and want to be on that list, they just need to call, and we can place them on that list. That means that we will automatically send them an application for an absentee prior to each election. To vote absentee, you do have to fill out an application each time. You can't just automatically do it. So we're responsible to get the applications in the mail. We're responsible to get the ballots out. Then when they come back, we have to verify all the signatures. They're compared with our records to make sure that there isn't voter fraud.
Yeah.
We have to set up the actual polling sites the day before election, and then we are off and running at 5:30 a.m. on election morning, and sometimes we're not home until midnight or after, depending on how things go.
Wow.
So
A long day.
It's a long day, but it's well worth it.
And I'm sure, as you were mentioning, with all the checks and whatnot that you have to do, there's a lot of oversight, and everything needs to be perfect when it comes to elections.
Yes, We always want our end-of-the-day results to be certified and to be sealed properly so that if there is a recount, that we are recountable.
Mm-hmm.
There would be nothing more embarrassing to get to a recount and say it's not properly done.
Yeah.
So we have checks and balances put in place that our workers have clear instructions on how that is to take place. We have been through several recounts in the past, and they aren't fun.
No, I'm sure.
But we have not had a precinct that has not been recountable, so that's
great.
That's a good thing. We have developed receiving boards, and what that means is the precinct workers in each polling place will bring their results into City Hall, and we have another team that will actually review those ballot cans with the ballots in them to make sure that they are properly sealed, so that
Okay.
we know election night that we've done everything that we can to ensure that they are recountable if that need arises.
Great.
So
Well, that's great that the city's done such a good job so far, at least.
we have. There's always a glitch during the day somewhere. Sometimes the machine may jam and our count will be off,
Mhm.
and that can't happen. We have to account for every single ballot and every single vote, and they have to match. If our vote count is what we call off at the end of the night, we have X number of voters, we need to have X number ballots that went through the tabulator, and if those numbers don't agree, we have to set that machine back to 0, and we have to run all those ballots back through.
Oh, wow.
We have to account for every ballot for every voter.
Wow.
So that can take a little bit of time after the polls close, so
Yeah.
it's not merely, 8 o'clock and we're done.
Yeah.
It can be hours afterwards.
Has it ever come down to the point where you've had to do a physical count, or?
Yes.
Yes? Wow.
Yes.
I'm sure that was.
You have to actually, go through and find every ballot and make sure that your totals match. And mainly the physical count would come at a recount,
Okay.
if there was one.
Okay. Great. And so what are some of the dates for for the different elections
The
coming up?
upcoming election, Tuesday, February 28th is our presidential primary.
Mhm.
And then August 7th will be the general primary, and November 6th will be the presidential election. And City Hall will be open the Saturday prior to each of those dates to receive and issue absentee ballots for the last minute people who may be going out of town. We are in our office from 9 until 2.
Okay.
Our polling locations, precinct 1 and 2 is at Liberty School, which is 7265 Saline Ann Arbor Road.
Mhm.
And then precinct 3 votes at the First United Methodist Church on the corner of Woodland Drive and Ann Arbor Street.
Okay.
And then our absentee ballots are counted by a separate board, and those are always counted at City Hall.
Great. And you had also mentioned that you do passports.
We do.
So someone wouldn't have to go to the post office, or
Right.
is there anything you'd like to talk to about that besides just that they're offered?
We are an acceptance agent for the U.S. Passport Department, U.S. Department of State, and we have the forms available at City Hall. They're also available online, but anyone who needs a passport can come in to us between the hours of 9 and 4, and we have people there that are able to process their applications, and we get them sent in. The fees are the same no matter if you go to City Hall or if you go to the post office. All fees for passports are set by the U.S. Department of State.
Okay.
The only fee that may be different is what we charge for photos. We do offer a photo service so that you
Okay.
don't have to have that done somewhere else. You can do it one-stop shopping with
Yeah.
us. So we do offer that service.
Is that common for city clerk office to offer that? Or?
Some of the bigger cities, and they do offer the service.
Mhm.
We do get $25 per application.
Okay.
For doing them. However, we have to turn around and we have to send a priority mail, and that's $5.65.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure it really pays for our total cost,
Mhm.
but we offer it as a public service.
That's great.
That we are there and are able to do that.
Yeah, I had always just heard the post office before, so Yeah, that's really great that people can just come on in
Yeah.
and get it all taken care of
Get
in
it
one
all taken
stop.
care of.
I guess if there wasn't anything else you wanted to mention about your office or your job or anything anyone should know, maybe misconceptions about city clerk?
No, I don't know about that. I guess I could mention that we will be sending out new voter ID cards
Mhm.
after the February 28th primary. I mentioned before the census, and once those census numbers come in, they do redistricting for all of the county commissioner, the state senate, all of those districts. They look at the boundaries and they can change those. Our state senate district is changing. We are going from state senate district 17 to 18.
Okay.
So that requires us to send all new voter ID cards to all of our registered voters. So those will be going out, like I say, sometime in March.
Great. Well, if there's not anything else,
Anyone that has any questions that needs to talk to me, they're free to call my office.
and what's the contact information?
Okay, my phone number is 429-4907, extension 2209.
All right. And then the city website also, they can go and get any kind of information.
Correct. That is www.cityofsaline.org.
Great. Well, I want to thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of helpful information. Things I had never known that the city clerk did, for sure. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And thank you for watching.
Thank you for having me.
Great.
I appreciate it.
This has been an SCTN production.